I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is a little parking area for a service road behind me that goes down to the Lewis Spring. There's the service road right there. We're going to head down that way until we find the Appalachian Trail, and there's a stretch of this I'm going to hike south for a couple miles today that I've never hiked before. Big Meadows is right up there. This is mile marker 51. There it is, folks, my little red car. I'm going to close it up and come over here, and we're going to start hiking down this service road until we get to the Appalachian Trail and hang a left and hike south. The elevation here is 3475. Three-tenths of a mile into my hike. I've been descending fairly steeply. I'm down to 3315 elevation. There's a service road it came down on, and right here is the intersection with the Appalachian Trail. Oh yeah, there's a white blaze over there. You probably can't see it because of the glare, but here it is over here. See that white blaze? So we're going to turn left here and follow the Appalachian Trail south for a ways, and until we cross over the Tanner Ridge Fire Road, and right there we'll stop and visit a cemetery there, the Tanner's Ridge Cemetery. Nine-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 3290, and still on the Appalachian Trail. I just walked out of the woods there, and here we are. This is the intersection with the Tanner's Ridge Fire Road. Heading that way is heading down the west side of the mountain, and right here is the Tanner's Ridge Cemetery. Real nice, real nicely maintained cemetery. So, and quite a few headstones too, all back in there. So I'll walk around and get a few pics of some of the headstones and dates and stuff, and then we're going to continue on with the AT to the south that way. 1.3 miles into my hike. The elevation is 3270. The AT is a ways over that way. I stepped off the trail this way because on the 1929 map it showed a homestead over in this general vicinity. It's a little early in the season for me to be bushwhacking back in here like this, because you can see the grass and stuff still hasn't died down, but anyway, I couldn't help myself. So I came back in here, and here's a rock pile that's within, oh, I don't know, I'd have to look at, let me look. It's within about 200 feet of the 1929 map. See that there? The rock pile. And I can tell by the way that stuff's piled up right there, that's probably more of it there. I have to come back in the winter time and get a better look, but that's more of the rock pile. I'm gonna push back up in here just a little further and see if I see anything else. But I'll mark this location so I can compare it to the 1929 map when I get home. Yeah, that first rock pile I showed you is right down there. And I'm pushing back in here a little further, and there's more of the rock pile continues. In fact, it's a fairly substantial line of it here. So when I get to the end of it, I'll try and get a GPS location for that too. Now there was a road that came back up in here too. So who knows, maybe I can find part of that. Well, besides that one area of rock pile, I wandered around up in there. It's pretty heavily overgrown though. I'll have to come back in the dead of winter when everything's completely died down and take another look. I didn't really see anything up in there except for those piles of rock. I'm back out on the on the Appalachian Trail now. That's the way I came from. I'm just going to continue on hiking to the south this way. I'm going to hike down to Milam Gap and then loop back. Okay, I found a trace of the old road right here where it crosses the Appalachian Trail. I'm going to mark the location and compare it to the old map when I get home. But it's definitely headed down towards the Tanner's Ridge Fire Road, which is what they showed on the old map. And then it comes up this way and crosses over where the AT is and heads up that way to the old homestead. So let me push back up in here one more time and take another little look now that I've found this road. .6 miles into my hike. The elevation is 3250, and I'm at the Milam Gap trailhead. Here's the Appalachian Trail coming down from the north. That's the way I came, and right here's a big parking lot, and here's the Appalachian Trail continuing. And if you follow the AT down there, there's Skyline Drive. Cross over Skyline Drive and continue about another 100 yards or so. And then turn left. There's a trail there that will take you down to Camp Hoover. A historic site down there. It's worth going down there to see it. This is going to be my turnaround point. Instead of going back the way I came, I'm gonna hike back along Skyline Drive, because that'll eventually get me up to the Tanner's Ridge Overlook. 3.8 miles into my hike. Elevation is 3440. And right up there around that sweeping turn is an overlook, and then my car is just a little further, about 0.2 of a mile from here maybe. This is the Tanner's Ridge Fire Road. This road goes all the way down the west side of the mountain. And they keep, at least out to the park boundary, they keep it fairly well maintained. So you can go to, you can hike down this. You can't drive down it, but you can hike down it. And this takes you right past that cemetery I showed you. I'm going to continue hiking to the north up here to Big Meadows. This is Tanner's Ridge Overlook. That's looking to the west. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Big Meadows, 1994, and I hiked a stretch of the Appalachian Trail which passed through a area known as Tanner's Ridge. I parked right here in a little 4 or 5 car parking zone right off of Skyline Drive. This is just south. Here's the Big Meadows complex right here, mile marker 51, and just south of that here at the bend in the road you can pull off into a little paved parking area. And I got out here and then I started hiking down this service road which takes you down to the Lewis Spring, which is right here, and then you turn left and pick up the Appalachian Trail starting here and hike south through the woods. You come out of the woods right here at the Tanner's Ridge Cemetery. Real nice cemetery, one of the best maintained cemeteries in the whole park, my opinion. You'll see from the pictures. And then you cross Tanner's Ridge Fire Road, go back into the woods, and continue hiking all the way down to Milam Gap, which is down here. Now, I'll show you an old map from 1929 in a minute. But I noticed when I was planning this hike that right there was on the 1929 map, it showed the location of an old homestead right here. And then this that I highlighted in pink was the old road through here, like that. So when I was in this area, I stepped off the trail into here to see if I could find anything. Now it's a little too early in the hiking season for bushwhacking. There's still a lot of undergrowth that needs to die down for wintertime. Then it'll be easier to see stuff. But when I stepped off, I did, right there where that little dot is, I did find a rock pile, and you'll see that in the video. And then I wandered around in this area here looking for the old homestead, any more signs of it, or the road coming up here, and I didn't find anything in this area. But when I got back down here to the Appalachian Trail, I did find the trace of the road starting here and going down this way. So I did find that section. So this winter, and I got the GPS location of that, so, and I know from the old map that that road comes up here to the homestead. So this, when it gets more into the winter, I might go back and take another look. Anyway, then I continued on down the Appalachian Trail to Milam Gap, which is here. Now Milam Gap's got a large parking zone here because if you cross over Skyline Drive and come over in this direction, you can hike down a trail, Mill Prong Trail, that takes you on down to Camp Hoover. So this is a real popular spot here at Milam Gap. And then instead of going back the way I came, I decided just to loop back along Skyline Drive, back up to the north this way. When I got to here, I stopped and got a few shots from Tanner's Ridge Overlook, and then back to my car. It's a fairly easy hike. It was 4.1 miles, but it was only 466 feet of ascent. So this stretch of the Appalachian Trail through here is fairly level. Now let me show you the old map for a second. This is Stony Man 1929, and this is the same area. This is the old road here. Okay, there's Milam Gap, and the cemetery is right about there. It's not indicated on this map, but that's where it is. And then right there you can see a black square. That would be the location of a homestead. So, and the stretch of the road, the old road that I did find, the Appalachian Trail comes through about like here. And so I did find this part right there. So that's the old road. And if you can see, I point out this is Tanner's Ridge Road now, they call it. And if you notice, it goes all the way down the west side of the mountain like this, all the way down into the Shenandoah Valley. And that was the hike for today.